You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
Bears fans, I absolutely love what I'm hearing about Justin Fields. A couple of weeks ago, Bears fans, I came here on the podcast and talked a lot about quarterback Justin Fields and how I felt like there was a shift changing when people were talking or discussing about quarterback Justin Fields. And the same thing continues to happen ever since he came back from that dislocated thumb and he played against the Detroit Lions, played a really good game against the Detroit Lions, and then played a decent game against the Minnesota Vikings despite those two late fumbles. I felt like Justin Fields played a pretty good football game. After these last two games, people are really starting to talk about quarterback Justin Fields, both positive things and negative things, of course, because you're always going to have your Justin Fields haters. But for the most part, I absolutely love, some of like the gurus, like the quarterback gurus, like Chase Daniels, Tim Jenkins, right? You have guys like Keyshawn Johnson. I know he's not a quarterback guru, but he played in the NFL. You have guys like Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman coming out and just giving their take on what they would do if they were in Ryan Poles' shoes. So to start off today's episode of Kick on the Mic, I want to show you some video clips of what Keyshawn Johnson had to say, what Richard Sherman had to say, and what Chase Daniels had to say on quarterback Justin Fields and what they would do if they were in Ryan Poles' shoes. Check this out, Bears fans.
I like the fascination about Caleb Williams. It's great. Heisman Trophy, USC quarterback, Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley throws it all over the lot, can move around, looks like Patrick Mahomes. I get it.
That was a pretty good description, actually.
I get it, though, Skip, but no, they should not. And here's why. Here's a quarterback that has had multiple offensive coordinators and head coaches in a 3-year span. This is really his second year. And what I mean by that, his first year, he just in and out, whatever, Mitch, who's going up the loop, all these different quarterbacks. Now, all of a sudden, he gets an opportunity to start. First-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator. Then his second year in the situation. He doesn't have any real wide receivers. DJ Moore's the only guy.
I mean, he's real.
No, I'm saying real wide receivers.
Okay.
DJ Moore's the only guy.
Yeah.
He's out there with St. Brown and Tunyon the tight end, and then there's Mooney. I mean, think about it, Skip. What has he done so egregious with all the different stuff that's going on in Chicago that you want to move on from him in year 2? Imagine if Trevor Lawrence did not get Doug Peterson at the quarterback position. I mean, as a head coach to coach him up at the quarterback position.
Yep.
Imagine that. What would we be saying about Trevor Lawrence? What would we be saying about Josh Allen if Brandon Beane didn't realize, I need to go get him a playmaker in Stephon Diggs? Because early on in Buffalo, they were scratching their head about what Josh Allen really was. So when you start to think about these young quarterbacks, because I continue to try to educate people to understand, situations and circumstances are important with young quarterbacks. And until you get something and put them around that will make them successful, you are always going to scratch your head. You say, well, last night he had 2 fumbles, had nothing to do with. Okay, well, that is true. He fumbled twice. They didn't lose the game. He had 13 attempts to his number 1 guy who had 11 receptions.
He did.
Imagine if he had a half of DJ Moore on the other side of DJ Moore. Imagine what that would look like. And you got to think about it, though, Richard. If he had a half of DJ Moore on the other side, imagine what he would look like. Brock Purdy looks like Brock Purdy because he's got Ayuk, he's got Kittle, he's got an offensive mind in Shanahan, he's got CMC, he's got Deebo Samuel. I mean, I can go on and on. He got a left tackle. I can go on and on and on. So I'm not, because Caleb is going to be in the same situation. He's going to a bad team in a bad situation. Now, I'm going to trust Ryan Poles to do the right thing in terms of using these picks smartly. Because the guy that I would go get for him, the number 1 guy I would go get, whether it's at the first pick or the 4th pick, is Marvin Harrison Jr.
You just interviewed him.
That's the one guy I'm going to get out of all the receivers in college football. I'm grabbing him.
Would you take him first?
Yeah, I probably would, depending on what my needs are. Do I think he's going to be there at 4. Probably not, because the Cardinals need him at 2.
They do.
So if the Cardinals take him at 2, then I can't get him at 4. So I probably would do that at 1. I probably would, because I think I got my quarterback. Now I need to surround him with some playmakers.
I'm with you, King. I think it depends on what you do with the coach situation. If you keep the same head coach, then you got to keep Justin Fields, because what's the point of bringing Caleb Williams into this situation? It's going to be the same result. I think you build around him. It's something Andrew Whitworth said on TNF. You should build the defense up, trade the first pick, gain a lot more picks. Maybe don't move too far, though. Second, third pick, and then build the team around him so you have a strong team around him, because that's how championship teams are built. You have great foundational pieces. We talk about how the Houston Texans are building. They have the tackle, the corner, the quarterback, the DN. I mean, that's how you build winning football. So until you build great team around him, I mean, it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He can't do it all by himself.
Right now, you can keep him because he doesn't cost you. Then he's going to cost you, and then you have to decide, is that a franchise quarterback? I'm going to make you the Bears GM right now. What are you going to do this offseason at the quarterbacking position?
Well, right now they draft 1 and 4 if the season ended today. And if the season ended today, I would absolutely say let Justin roll another year or two. I think you pass on a Caleb Williams or a Drake May. I think, in my opinion, and this is going to be a little bit of a hot take because people don't really understand it, I think he's done enough to show that he can be successful in the National Football League, given 2 things. One, they put a supporting cast around them. Okay. If you go out there and you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and you have Darnell Mooney and you have DJ Moore out there, that's a heck of a supporting cast around him. And if you actually run an offense that fits Justin, you look at last year. Let's go back to last year. Even before the Patriots game, that was the defining moment for me. They were running an under center play action scheme that they did in Green Bay with Getsy. That's not Justin Fields. When they switched over to an offense that actually used his strengths, okay, he played really well the last part of last year. Let's look forward to this year. The first 3 games of the year, they're doing the exact same thing, and Justin's struggling. That's not him. He's not going to be the guy to say, hey, versus cover 2, work this side. Versus cover 4, work this side. Hey, man alert beaters. No, he's a pure progression shotgun quarterback, and his feet help him out. So you have to actually put him in a position to be successful. And I think that even before Justin's injury, the last 2 or 3 games before, he started getting on a little bit of a heater, and it's continued last week, Detroit, yesterday versus Minnesota. And look, everyone's gonna be like, well, those 2 fourth quarter fumbles. Okay. I've got so many people on Twitter, Dan, saying, oh, look, well, he's done. He had 2 fourth quarter fumbles. Well, do you want your quarterback to just roll up in a ball after he fumbles the ball? Or do you want him to do exactly what Justin did, is lead him down the field for a victory? That's what I want. So in my opinion, it showed me more about who Justin is, that 2-minute drive.
Bears fans, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love what they had to say. And of course, you guys all understand I am a huge Justin Fields guy, but the same thing that Keyshawn Johnson had to say about Justin Fields, the same thing that Chase Daniels had to say about Justin Fields, and the same thing that Richard Sherman had to say about Justin Fields and what they would do if they were Ryan Poles' shoes is the same exact thing I've been saying forever, for the longest time. To me, at this point, I understand you're going to have, the people that don't like Justin Fields, the people that are going to continue to be negative when they're discussing Justin Fields. There's going to be those people that just don't want Justin Fields to be a Chicago Bears quarterback anymore. And to be honest with you guys, if that's how they feel, that is their personal opinion. You can't hate them for their opinion. I'm pretty sure they have their reasons, but I really try to sit back. And, every time I get comments on Justin Fields, people calling Justin Bustin' Fields or Justin Fields sucks, Justin Fields this, I try my best to understand where they're coming from, right? But for the most part, at times, it's really tough for me to come to a conclusion and come to an agreement with people on quarterback Justin Fields, because at the end of the day, they're just coming with no facts whatsoever. They're saying Bustin' Fields or Justin Fields sucks, but they're not giving their reasons why they don't like Justin Fields or why they want the Bears to get rid of quarterback Justin Fields, right? So at this point, as I was thinking before the recording of this video, today's episode of Geek on the Mic, I was really thinking that at this point, there was no reason arguing back and forth in terms of talking about quarterback Justin Fields. At this point, we're just all going to have to agree to disagree in terms of when we are discussing about quarterback Justin Fields. And it's okay if you have that opinion on Justin Fields. If you don't like the guy, that's your opinion. But at the same time, if I'm going to continue to support Justin Fields, if there's people out there that are going to continue to support Justin Fields, you don't have to go out of your way to hate on them. It's totally okay. Everyone has a right to their opinion at the end of the day. But to me, when I'm hearing all these people say all these positive things about quarterback Justin Fields, the thing I like about it is that they are supporting it with facts. They're not just saying, hey, I think the Chicago Bears should just stick with quarterback Justin Fields and pass on Caleb Williams just because. No, they are coming with straight facts, right? And that's what Keyshawn Johnson did. That's what Richard Sherman did. And that's what Chase Daniels is continuing to do when they talk about what they would do if they were in Ryan Poles' shoes in regards to the Justin Fields situation. Once again, I think the thing that bothers me the most, Bears fans, about the people that are really kind of hating on quarterback Justin Fields is that when they are saying these things like the Bustin' Fields comments, right? And trust me, every time I turn on a live stream, I get so many people coming into the live feed saying, Bustin' Fields, that's your quarterback, Bustin' Fields. And to me, I feel like you don't need to be doing all that. And if you, once again, if you really hate Justin Fields, at least give your facts on why you don't want Justin Fields to no longer be the Chicago Bears quarterback. But I think overall, that's my biggest pet peeve about Justin Fields haters. And I'm not going to sit here and say people like, Shady McCoy or Joy Taylor from Speak. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them because I don't know why I continue to watch that show because Joy Taylor and Shady McCoy really get under my skin. I try my best not to let them get under my skin, but they do. And it's not just on their comments surrounding Justin Fields. It's about anything in general. They look at things in a very weird way. For example, when they're talking about quarterback Justin Fields, and they talk about Justin Fields in the Chicago Bears situation a lot, and usually the question that comes up on this show is, should the Chicago Bears move forward with Justin Fields, or has Justin Fields shown enough in the past couple of weeks for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears to move forward? Those are usually their talking points on their show, Speak. If you haven't seen their show, go ahead and check it out. I don't recommend it if you are, I guess, a sensitive person or if you're going to take things to heart. Once again, I don't think I take anything they say to heart, but I think for me personally, if you're going to say that the Chicago Bears should move forward and get rid of Justin Fields, at least have some more reasons on why you think so. For example, Joy Taylor and Shady McCoy, their biggest argument on why the Chicago Bears should move forward and get rid of quarterback Justin Fields is his overall record is 7-26. He doesn't win football games. He cannot lead the Chicago Bears to wins. And what James Jones is trying to say, because James Jones is a Justin Fields supporter, so he supports Justin Fields. He fires back and gives his reasoning why he would keep Justin Fields and continue to build around Justin Fields. He's like, well, Justin Fields, to me, is still the guy, blah, 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 blah. And when you say that 7-26 record, that is not a quarterback stat. You guys heard me say that a bunch of time on the platform. He's like 7-26 on Justin Fields. That is not a Justin Fields stat. That is a team stat. And then they kind of go on a rant and they go back and forth. Once again, you guys can go on YouTube and check out these conversations. And trust me, once you hear Joy Taylor talk, once you hear Shady McCoy talk, and once again, I don't know them individually, obviously, but when they talk, it seems like they don't actually watch the games. They are just looking at the stats. They are just looking at Justin Fields' overall record, which once again, that is not a Justin Fields stat. That is a team stat. They look at the box score, and that is that. They don't actually watch that Justin Fields is actually improving as a passer. They don't watch the fact that Justin Fields just led a game-winning drive. Of course, they'll look at the fumbles, the two costly fumbles he had, and they'll talk about that and use that against Justin Fields. But most of the time, they don't really do deep research on why they really think the Chicago Bears should get rid of Justin Fields. They always throw out that 7-26 record, which that's what most people do. That's what most Justin Fields haters do when they talk about why the Chicago Bears should get rid of him. It's always the 7-26 record. He is 2-10 or 2-11 against the NFC North opponents. But once again, they never bring up anything else. And this is the one thing that I really like about Emmanuel Acho. Emmanuel Acho is like the head guy of the show Speak. And I think that's why I continue to go back, because him and James Jones actually deliver the stats. They will say their reasoning, but they'll back it up with even more stats. And that's what I really like about Emmanuel Acho. He said, respectfully, I really like Justin Fields, but I think the Chicago Bears should move on because he turns over the ball too much in the fourth quarter, which to me, when you look at quarterback Justin Fields, that is my one big knack on him, is that he does turn the ball over a lot in the fourth quarter. He pulled up a stat and he says in the first quarter, he has 3 turnovers. In the second quarter, he has this many turnovers. In the third quarter, he has this many turnovers. And he showed the fourth quarter stats of Justin Fields in terms of turnover to football. And the number was like at 17 and his passer rating dropped all the way to 60. So that's what he gave as his reasoning of why the Chicago Bears should move forward. When you approach it that way, that's the type of reasoning that you need to give, just like Emmanuel Acho. Once again, I'll put the link down below in the video so you guys can check out the video you guys yourself. But that's what I think when we're having this conversation. If you don't like Justin Fields, that's totally fine. Back it up with some real stats, not just that he's 7-26. If you back it up like, well, he turns over the football too much, he fumbles too much, he throws too many interceptions, right? He can never lead a game-winning drive, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter what it is. Just give actually do your research and give some stats on why you want the Chicago Bears to move forward. So once again, going back to Joy Taylor and Shady McCoy, that's why I don't like people like that. Because they just look at the box score, right? They don't watch any Chicago Bears football. And once again, they don't have anything personal against Justin Fields. That is just their opinion. They think the Chicago Bears would be better off without Justin Fields, and they think it should get Caleb Williams or Drake May. But at the end of the day, I think they should do a little bit more research before talking about the Chicago Bears situation surrounding Justin Fields. So now let's go back to the videos I showed you at the beginning of this podcast of Keek on the Mic when we're talking about Keyshawn Johnson, Chase Daniels, Richard Sherman. Once again, I know Keyshawn Johnson and Richard Sherman have never played quarterback in the NFL. They did play in the NFL, so I do kind of trust their judgment. But the judgment I really like listening to is people like Chase Daniel. And obviously Keyshawn Johnson and Richard Sherman also made good points. To me, this is just the logical reason. They say the Chicago Bears should keep quarterback Justin Fields because they feel like he has never been put in the perfect situation to succeed. And once again, you are never going to have, I guess, a perfect situation unless you are talking about Brock Purdy in San Francisco, where he has a good offensive line. He has a good defense. He has an excellent offensive-minded head coach. Brock Purdy is in the perfect situation. You can even look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts inherited a very good Philadelphia Eagles team. And I think that's what Keyshawn Johnson is trying to point out when he talks about Justin Fields needs to be in a better situation. He talks about the multiple offensive coordinators, the multiple head coaches, that basically Justin Fields had to deal with the rebuild. And he even went as far as talking about Keyshawn Johnson here, saying, has Justin Fields been that terrible that you just want to get rid of him and start over? And basically what he's trying to insinuate is that if you draft a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams and Drake May, and I think he really does like Caleb Williams. I think he thinks that Caleb Williams is going to be a really good player in the NFL, but he understands that in a rebuild, if you draft Caleb Williams, that is going to take you backwards. And that's why Richard Sherman, after Keyshawn Johnson got done talking, and I showed you the video clip earlier in this episode of Keek on the Mic, that's why Richard Sherman backed up what Keyshawn Johnson had to say and says, well, who is going to be the offensive coordinator? Who's going to be the coaching staff if you do get rid of Justin Fields? And once again, those are all points that I pointed out for the longest time right here on Keek on the Mic. Who is going to be the offensive coordinator? Who is going to be the head coach? Because once again, if you get rid of Justin Fields, you might as well clean house, because Caleb Williams, Drake May, or whatever quarterback you bring in here into Chicago is not going to survive Luke Getsy. I feel like we have some really good pieces in place. Kudos to Ryan Poles. The offensive line is improving. The defense is improving. We're going to have some good weapons on the outside. DJ Moore, I think he's going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., so I think he will have a good situation in terms of players around him, but doesn't mean Luke Getsy is going to magically become the greatest offensive coordinator in the National Football League. So that's what Keyshawn Johnson, that's what Chase Daniels, that's what Richard Sherman, and that's what anyone that is talking about why we should keep Justin Fields and why you shouldn't move on from Caleb Williams, that's what they are trying to say. Give Justin Fields one more year with a better offensive coordinator. Go out and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. with the number 1 overall pick. Go with the number 4 overall pick. Get him Alu Fashanu, a left tackle, right? Or maybe even get him Brock Bowers, the tight end, if you want to get crazy with that. But overall, until you put Justin Fields in the best situation to succeed, it's really unfair to move on from Justin Fields. It's the most logical thing the Chicago Bears can do at this point. Because to me personally, Justin Fields has not been that bad to where we should move on from him. Once again, you can come in the comment section and throw that 7-26 record to me. But once again, all I'm going to say to that is that is not a quarterback stat. That is a team stat. The only thing that has bothered me about quarterback Justin Fields in his time in Chicago is that he does fumble the ball too much. But to me, I think that can be a coaching fix. If the Chicago Bears bring in some good coaches, and I'm not saying Matt Eberflus is not a good coach. I think he's an excellent defensive coach. But if you bring in a guy like Jim Harbaugh, or maybe if you keep Matt Eberflus and you bring in an offensive coordinator like Ken Dorsey, maybe they will be able to help Justin Fields with his ball security issues. And a lot of people always like to say that, well, Justin Fields holds on to the ball too long as well. But to me, I feel like Justin Fields holding on to the ball, you kind of have to live and die with that, because Justin Fields also makes a whole lot of plays when he holds onto the ball, because Justin Fields makes things happen with his legs. And to me, when you look at Justin Fields, Bears fans, he's progressing. He's developing. He's doing a whole lot better throwing the football down the field. Obviously, Ryan Poles getting DJ Moore was huge for quarterback Justin Fields, and they already have an amazing connection. And just like Keyshawn Johnson said in the same segment, he's like, could you imagine if the Chicago Bears just had half a DJ Moore on the other side? And that's nothing against Darnell Mooney. So just imagine if you have DJ Moore, you draft Marvin Harrison Jr., you bring in a capable offensive coordinator that's not Luke Getsy, and just see what Justin Fields does. Once again, the offensive coordinator has to come in and play to Justin Fields' strengths, not make Justin Fields conform to your ways like Luke Getsy tried to do to Justin Fields early on in the season. You need an offensive coordinator. You need an offensive coordinator that's going to play to Justin Fields' strengths. So once again, DJ Moore, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., get a good offensive coordinator or an offensive-minded head coach if you move on from Matt Eberflus, and just watch how Justin Fields continues to transform into your franchise quarterback. I promise you, Bears fans. And I believe that logically, Keyshawn Johnson agrees, Richard Sherman agrees, Chase Daniels agrees. Well, holy crap, a lot of people agree that if the Chicago Bears get rid of quarterback Justin Fields, he is going to transform into a generational talent, because what's going to happen is that he's going to go into a situation that the coaches play to his strengths, and the team is going to be good around him. And Justin Fields will transform into something special. But right now, a lot of people that are hating on Justin Fields, they don't care. They just want to see something new. But once again, just like my dad always told me, just like my parents taught me growing up, the grass is not always greener on the other side, Bears fans. I promise you, the grass is not always greener on the other side. I just thought that this would have been a good opportunity for me to come on here and show you those video clips from Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman, Chase Daniel. Once again, this is going to be an ongoing conversation to finish off the year and into the offseason. Obviously, people were going crazy about Ryan Poles giving Justin Fields a huge hug after the Monday Night Football win where he led a game-winning drive. And honestly, that probably doesn't mean much. But I know there's a lot of people that were on there saying, well, this doesn't look like a GM that hates their quarterback, that wants to move on from their quarterback. But obviously, that's not true. We don't know what's going on inside closed doors. But I like to believe that Ryan Poles will make the right decision. Whether you think the right decision is moving on from Justin Fields or keeping Justin Fields, I guess, is your business. Once again, we just have to agree to disagree. But I just feel like this was a good conversation to come on and have. And I feel like when I say it, my words don't carry any weight, because once again, I never played in the NFL and I never played the quarterback position. But Chase Daniels played quarterback in the NFL, and he continues to stand by Justin Fields' side, saying Justin Fields is not the problem. Keyshawn Johnson, he's not a quarterback, but he played in the NFL. He's saying Justin Fields is not the problem. The Chicago Bears should continue to build around him. Richard Sherman didn't play quarterback, but he played in the NFL. A lot of people respect Richard Sherman. He's saying the same thing. But then you have people like Joy Taylor, Shady McCoy, and even guys like Skip Bayless. Joy Taylor and Skip Bayless haven't played a down of football in their life. Their words carry just as much weight as mine, which is not a lot. Maybe they're more respected because they're on national TV, but their words don't carry no weight. Shady McCoy played in the NFL. I'm pretty sure he's respected. And once again, I'm not hating on them for their opinion. They can have that opinion on Justin Fields. And once again, the people that don't like Justin Fields, I'm not hating on your opinion. I understand that it's frustrating, right? We want to see a good quarterback, and I think Justin Fields is a good quarterback. We want to see a winner in Chicago. I understand it sucks to lose. And I understand that it's always nice to want something new. We want something new in Caleb Williams. We want something new in Drake May. I understand it. But to me, I'm going to stand on my stance, just like Keyshawn Johnson said, just like Richard Sherman, just like Chase Daniels continue to say. I'm going to continue on my stance saying that the most logical thing to do here is to keep Justin Fields, get a better offensive-minded head coach or a better offensive coordinator that will play to Justin Fields' strengths, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., and continue to build around the kid. So overall, Bears fans, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Keek on the Mic. Before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. What do you think the Chicago Bears, or more likely, what do you want the Chicago Bears to do with quarterback Justin Fields? Do you think we should get rid of Justin Fields and draft Caleb Williams? Or do you think we should keep Justin Fields and continue to build around him? And give me explanations of why, whichever way you go, give me a good reason why down below in the comment section. But as always, continue to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
You've been listening to Keek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.